And now.
That's the middle shot. He scores! Slips it off to Wyatt Matthews. He's in! Eagles take the lead!
The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball.
Welcome to Sports Talk, the number one sports podcast in the Philadelphia area. Come on out here, Brodes. This episode of Sports Talk with Brodes is brought to you by Sports R Philly. Sports R Philly contains a wide variety of great blogs across the Philadelphia area. You can follow them on Twitter at Sports R Philly or check out their website, www.sportsrphilly.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Sports Talk with Brodes. Very excited to do this episode. We got a lot on the table. Before we begin, I just want to let you know the best way to find out about when my newest episodes are released, whether it's the podcast or YouTube or anything that I release with Sports Talk with Brodes, you should follow me on Twitter at sportsandbrodes. It's where I release everything. You can also call into the show using your voice recording app and sending it in to sportsandbrodes@gmail.com. Essentially, it's like a voicemail box. You call in, and I can use it and put it into the show, and you could be a caller. And those are appreciated. Keeps the show going. With that being said, let's kick it off with some wild card baseball last night. The Yankees beat the Twins 8-4. And I saw that coming the whole way. Although that middle of the lineup with the Twins was solid, I just feel like the Yankees had a little bit more going for them. The game started off kind of ugly. The pitching was not where they wanted to be. They weren't settled in. It had to be emotions. It had to be the adrenaline. It was just an ugly start for both sides for pitching. Dozier starts the game off with a dinger. And Rosario goes yard as well to put the Twins up 3-0. Rosario's was a 2-run shot. 3-0 in the top of the first. I'm sitting there with a couple buddies like, damn. I did not expect the next inning, the bottom of that inning, to be what it was, which was a Gregorius 3-run shot to tie the ball game 3-3. That first 2-3 innings kind of made the game drag on a bit, but the pace did pick up a little, considering the bullpen for the Yankees especially had a strong game. But bottom of the second, when it's tied 3-3, Gardner hits an absolute shot. Mini bat flip, mini stare down, and you know what? Good, because it's the playoffs, and I respect that. I don't want to hear about all the unwritten rules of the non-bat. No. This is playoffs. Start bat flipping. Start staring people down. Let's get it going, because this is when it matters. Hell yeah, I'm going to stare you down. This is the playoffs. I just rocked one off you, and the crowd is going nuts. Twins end up tying it in the top of the third, making it 4-4, but this is when the Yankees took over and did their job. Bottom of the third, they get a single, and they score on that, 5-4. Gary Sanchez scores. Then in the bottom of the fourth, Aaron Judge with a absolute line drive dinger, and running around the base paths, he is smiling like a little kid. He is screaming. He's showing emotion. Something he hasn't really done throughout the season. He felt it. He even said it after the game. He was dreaming of a moment of getting a ballpark that excited. Well, this isn't going to be the first or the last. No, that makes no sense. It is the first, but it's not going to be the last. He's a beast. I love him. Now, I have it written down in my notes right here. Am I a fraud fan for liking the Yankees because of Aaron Judge? Am I a fraud Philadelphia fan? I mean, I do the same thing with hockey. Sidney Crosby, best hockey player in the world. I love them. I wanted the Penguins to win it all last year because he is amazing. Does that make me a fraud fan? On one side, I see it. I see that. If I heard somebody else saying that, I'd be like, are you ridiculous? Which the answer is yes. But on the other side, you gotta just respect being a sportsman, how it goes. And I love great players. And Aaron Judge is a great player. So I want to see him continue to do well. And I wanted to see the Yankees win. I don't know if I want to see them win the whole entire thing. I wouldn't be mad. But I like that Cleveland squad. So we'll see where it goes. But yeah, the final was 8-4 Yankees. It was a good game and kept my interest. Like I said, the first couple innings were a little bit slower. The pitching wasn't there. But the bullpen for the Yankees came out to play. Chapman came out to play. The 105-mile-per-hour fastballs, I don't understand how people hit those. They don't. That's it. They actually don't hit those. So I do understand it. But tonight we have another wild card game with the D-backs and the Colorado Rockies with Greinke on the mound for the backs. This is going to be a good game. I mean, I believe in the Rockies, but I just feel like Arizona has a little bit more of a squad. You got Gray on the mound for Colorado. It's going to be a great game, don't get me wrong. I don't think it's going to be as heavy favored as that Yankees team was. I believe the line for Vegas was minus 250 Yanks. So that's a pretty aggressive line. It's saying right here Arizona's favored minus 170. So not as strong as a line, but they agree with me that, Arizona has a little bit more depth, if you will. But I'm excited. I was looking up Nationals Cubs tickets because they start on Thursday night at 4 o'clock, actually. Tickets were $100, though, and that's something that the Poor College Fund does not support at the moment, but that would have been so sick to go to. Are you kidding me? A Nats-Cubs playoff game? I would have loved that. And the last thing I want to say about the MLB before we kick it off into something else is the wild card celebration premature. The alcohol in the locker room, the spraying, is it too much for a one playoff game win? Is it though? You didn't win a series. You won one wild card game, which essentially really, you guys are just playing to get into the playoffs. I love the system, don't get me wrong. They were saying how in the past there was no wild card game, and it was just the first wild card team gets in. No, love the system. But is the celebration factor of spraying stuff in the locker room and getting all hype, is it a little too much? I don't know. I see both sides of it. Just like the Philly fraud thing. I see both sides. On one hand, hey, we're going, baby. We're going to the next step. We're in playoffs. We won. We did our job. Let's celebrate a little. But at the same time, it's, boys, we are far, far away from the goal. This was just a step. And I don't know. I feel like it is kind of a little bit premature, though. I don't understand the point of spraying everybody. You got a game in a couple days, and you're going to be taking on a much stronger squad. You got a lot to look at. That's all. I don't think they have a chance to beat who they got to play, the Cleveland Indians. Hey, I could be wrong. I doubt it, though. So I want to go on to a little bit of something I saw on Bleacher Report. Now, I have the article up, and it is a power ranking of the NFL squads thus far. Now, I had to look at my boys, the Birds. They are ranked at 8. Now, I wasn't pissed off about this ranking, but I just wanted to read you a couple squads that were ranked ahead of my Birds. Last week, they were ranked at 13, the Eagles, so they took a jump up 5 spots. 7, New England Patriots, falling from number 1 after that atrocious defense and lost to the Panthers. Green Bay Packers, 6. The Lions at 5. I'm not that afraid of the Lions. I don't know if it's that much of a jump. 4, the Falcons, after a loss, only dropping 1 spot. 3, the Broncos. 2, the Steelers. I'll be honest with you, I'm not that afraid of the Steelers either. They have not blown me away to that extent to be in the power rankings at number 2. Seriously, though. Cool, you beat a crappy Ravens squad last week. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Are they that... I wasn't even thinking that... Has Antonio Brown been doing that much? I don't think so. He hasn't stuck out to me as one of those receivers that... I mean, he's obviously a top receiver, don't get me wrong, but nothing to the point of craziness. So you beat the Browns week 1. They beat the Vikings week 2. They lose to the Bears in overtime week 3, which is a tough loss. And then they beat a crappy Ravens team the next week. They got the Chiefs in 2 weeks. They got the Lions 2 weeks after that. I'm going to keep my eye on this Steelers team. I don't know, ranked 2? And then 1 obviously being the Kansas City Chiefs. So there's a couple teams that I'm not that afraid of ahead of this power ranking, which is the Lions, the Steelers. Come see me, Steelers. We whooped you last year, week 3. We might have fell apart after that. Didn't mean we didn't whoop you. So that's where the power rankings are. Colin Cowherd ripped apart the Eagles fans yesterday on The Herd on Fox Sports, talking about Andy Reid and how we pushed him away and how he's such a great coach, coaching mediocre quarterbacks and still getting the job done. Donovan McNabb is a quarterback who is borderline Hall of Famer. Okay, so yeah, he's doing it with Alex Smith right now. But Donovan McNabb, he's literally a borderline Hall of Famer. Look at his numbers. They're not just mediocre. His last year in Philly, he went 4-12. And the year before that, I think it was 8-8. It was time for him to go. Ripping apart how stupid we are. How we push away all these people. Who are you? 4-12. The back end of his career here in Philly wasn't the greatest. It was time for a switch up. That's how it works. To tell us that we're the stupidest fan base is what this man said about Philadelphia. You're a joke, Cowherd. Absolute joke. Just a rundown here of the NFL. Now I'm all fired up about it. Getting on my squad like that. Just a mini rundown of some big games this week in the NFL. Thursday night game, Patriots-Buccaneers. Not a bad Thursday night game. I love to see these. You love to see when it's not crap on Thursday nights. Obviously, we have the Birds hosting the Eagles at 1. The Titans-Dolphins, that's going to be crap because Mariota's not playing and Jay Cutler's a bum. We've been over that. The Steelers play the Jags. Let's see how the Steelers do against a great defensive front. I think they're a better team overall than the Jags, but maybe that defense can make them struggle a little bit. You never know. Packers-Cowboys at 4:25. There you go. That's the game of the week. You got Chiefs-Texans at night, Sunday night. There's really only 3 good games on Sunday, which sucks. Now you got the Rams and the Seahawks. I keep forgetting the Rams are a great squad. So that's where we are with that. That's running down the NFL. I don't think there's much great games going on in college football this week either, to be honest. We maybe have a Michigan State game. We have a TCU. Who does TCU play? It's another ranked opponent. I can't think right off the top of my head. West Virginia. TCU, West Virginia at 3:30. But I don't think it's that great of a college football weekend. Bama plays A&M. But I'm going NBA now. A Lyft driver runs into Joel Embiid running down the streets of Philadelphia. I don't get this. Is this guy healthy, ready to play? Can he do whatever he wants with his knees? Clear the damn man 100%. Put it out in public. I want a banner tweeted out, hanging up from the Wells Fargo Center, a picture of it saying, Joel Embiid is cleared to play 5-on-5 basketball, and I want the Sixers to tweet it out. Stop hiding stuff from us. Now, I remember someone saying he's cleared to do something. We took the next step, but I want to see him playing legit basketball this year. I do. He's running around the streets of Philly on his foot. If it's not bad, then clear him. If it's bad, why is he running around the streets of Philadelphia on that bad foot? I better see him play this year. Now, here's a pretty big thing that the NBA is doing this year, which I respect the NBA and the way they try and help out situations, change it, make it better, just make the whole league better as much as they can. Captains now pick teams for the All-Star game. Now, one of the things, I don't know if it's official or not, is now that it's not East versus West, can you pick more teams, more players that are on the West side? Because, quite frankly, the West is way more dominant in superstars than the East. So it doesn't have to be split up from East and West to the point where great players are being left out on the West because they're so stacked, and some crappier players are getting into the All-Star game on the East side because the East isn't as strong. So I believe it should just be a whole entire group of guys that you can choose from who have the stats and numbers regardless of what side of the conferences you are on. And I'm pretty sure that's how it's going to be. Now, one of the problems might be, are people going to be biased? If, say, LeBron James is a captain, is he going to pick Draymond Green? Is he going to pick Kevin Durant? Or is he going to pick D. Rose? Are we going to see a Cleveland Cavaliers versus Golden State Warriors in an All-Star game in January? I don't even know if it's in January. Why did I think January? Regardless. Is it? Is it going to be a showdown? I mean, I doubt it, because the plan is to not make it that way. But picks are going to be biased, don't you think? If D. Rose has some numbers, is his boy LeBron not going to pick him up? Of course he is. Tyronn Lue and Iman Shumpert had a air it out meeting before training camp started. I say get him out of here. Make some trades. I don't know if anyone really wants him. I don't think his trade value is really there. He doesn't do much. He used to be known as a defender, but I haven't seen anything like that. I think he stinks. If he stays on this roster, whatever, work your bag off in practice, play D hard in practice, but do not put him in the basketball games. Make sure he is the 9th, 10th man coming off the bench, if that. I don't like him. I really don't think he brings anything to the table. I think he's an overrated defender. He can't score. I don't know what he brings to the team. Energy guy, practice. I knew they had some kind of trade talks trying to put him on a trading block. But obviously it didn't work out. Jaylen Brown said the Isaiah Thomas trade changed the culture of the Boston Celtics. And I don't know if it's for the good or for the bad. And that's saying a lot to me. It is. Because think about it. This is a man who was there with IT and saw what was happening in the locker room, around the team, felt the arena. And everyone loved Isaiah Thomas there. Obviously, look at what he did for the city, the heart he played with, everything he went through, and still played his heart out on that court. You get rid of him, and you pick up Kyrie Irving. Now, this is Jaylen Brown in the locker room for the Kyrie Irving situation. I don't know. I feel like this man isn't just making it up. Something is different in that locker room for him to come out and say it. Not saying that the whole entire Boston Celtics franchise is just going to demolish now. But that's obviously a huge key piece. Being a college athlete myself, I understand what a good locker room and a bad locker room does to a team. So it's just something to keep an eye out on when the season comes around. Bradley Beal says the Washington Wizards is the team to beat in the East. Please stop talking. You are irrelevant. You have a good team. You are not close to that top tier. You also play in the East. I don't think your team would do so well in the West. Yeah, you'll come in 3, 4. You're not beating my boy LeBron. It ain't happening. So stop talking. And Michael Beasley on the other side saying he is LeBron like you. Stop talking. What is wrong with people? Michael Beasley coming out saying he's coming back LeBron, Mike? Are you serious? Are you delusional? I match up with Kevin Durant and LeBron, this man says. You're an absolute joke. Absolute joke. But tonight is going to be a great night because the NHL is back. Let's go. I'm hyped. Jack Eichel signs an 8-year, $80 million deal. Good for him. And with the Fly guys, a little questionable captains, which makes me ponder a little bit on what's going on here. Filppula and McDonald rocking the A's. One rocks one at home, one rocks one away, I saw. What is that? I just talked about how crucial a locker room can be when it comes to leadership roles. And not that Filppula hasn't been around the league for a while. I kind of respect that one a little bit more than the McDonald one. But, man, I'm kind of questioning the head coach, Ron Hextall, here. What is the deal with that? I'm just excited to see Nolan Patrick play, though, for the Orange and the Black. He gets in a fight in preseason against Krejci, a respected player in the NHL. The fans go wild. I saw a hilarious tweet saying, this is kind of like a frat brother getting brought into the fraternity for his initiation, fighting in Philadelphia. The fans were going wild. It was an awesome thing to see. But yeah, tonight it's back, 10:30. Late guy in San Jose. You got the wild card game before it. It's going to be a great night of sports. Kick back, relax. And then tomorrow, you have a little bit more of the MLB kicking off. I think that's when the Cubs Nats play. They play at 4, which is great because I got class at 5, so I'm totally streaming that in class. That's the best part about baseball. Games are at 1 o'clock. You're in class. You just stream the game. You got something to watch. How many YouTube highlights of all kinds of hockey games, top 100 goals, top 100 catches in the NFL? How many of those can I watch? Gets a little boring. Then I got to start tuning into some live games. So yesterday before practice, I was just hanging out in the common room. We got a couple couches in the locker room, a nice TV. And I get there like an hour early because by the time I leave class at 12:15, practice starts at 1:30. I got a little bit of time to just kick back, relax. And we always have NHL Network going on. I come in, I obviously switch it to either ESPN because at 12 o'clock on NHL Network is a talk show, a sports talk show. Now, you would think I would love that, and I do. I find it interesting. But coming from a true sportsman who covers the 4 major, who loves the 4 major, who loves football, hoops, a little bit more than covering hockey, probably, and that's just the honest truth, it cracks me up to see 3 Canadians. Like, oh, the 4th liner for the Ottawa Senators really need to pick it up. You know what I mean? Like, they were breaking down why the 4th line for the Ottawa Senators need to focus on their draft picks in the AHL. It's just too much for me. I'm going to cover hockey. I'm going to cover, the Flyers probably, but that makes sense being a Philadelphia sports fan. I'm going to cover just all around. If it's Wednesday night and, the Penguins are playing the Canadiens, I'm going to cover a big game like that. Am I going to cover a 2-crap Florida playing Minnesota and talk about it? Unless the score is like 8-6, I don't think so. And even if I do cover it, I'm not going to be breaking down why Florida's fourth line needs to get better. It's just crazy how much in-depth these guys really go. But hey, it's their job to be NHL reporters. But I can't imagine people sitting there from 12 to 1 listening to the third goalie backup situation for any team. I just don't understand it. And I couldn't imagine doing what I did this summer, driving all summer long and just listening to Philly sports radio, and then breaking down why Matt Reed needs to switch lines. I just couldn't imagine that happening. It wouldn't work in any market. I wonder if teams in Edmonton, Toronto, they definitely do that. It's funny because to us in Philadelphia, it's Eagles, Eagles, Eagles. And I'm sure sports radio in Toronto is exactly what I'm talking about right now. Now that I think about it, it cracks me up. They're not talking about the Toronto CFL team? Come on. You got to show some love to the football, some CFL. They probably make fun of us, thinking we're nuts for loving football so much over hockey. Hockey never gets talked about. It never gets talked about. Coming from someone who literally loves covering sports and watches sports whenever I get the chance, I get it's not going to be on ESPN because they don't cover hockey like that. You got to find a different place for it. It just cracks me up. I'm processing how I am going to cover hockey to the point for the point of it being entertaining for everybody. Considering majority of my friends are hockey fans, though, I guess they'll like it. But the average sports fan does not like hockey. It's crazy. So I got to come up with a way to make it interesting and not be breaking down fourth line roles for squads. With that being said, though, I am going to finish this episode off here. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Sports Talk with Brodes. It means the world to me. We are, at this very moment, 2 downloads shy of 900. Obviously, the goal is set to 1,000 at this point. That is a huge milestone in the career of Sports Talk with Brodes. I am shooting for the stars. I am pursuing the dream. We are going to get there. I just have to continue to do it, and I hope you guys support me and listen to all these episodes. Make sure you follow me on Twitter to find out when my new episodes are released, when my YouTube videos are released. And all you have to do is follow me at sportsandbrodes. It's very simple. And to call into the show, to be a part of the show. Essentially leaving a voicemail for me and I plug it on in. Use a recording app on your phone. Record yourself. Hey, this is Brodes from South Jersey. Just want to let you know the Eagles are the best, for example. Send it over to sportsandbrodes@gmail.com. Very easy. Helps the show. I get a good amount of callers. I'm very excited about that. It helps the show move on a little bit, creates conversation. So with that being said, the episode ends here. Thank you so much for everything. We will be back very soon.